Doobie-da-ba-ba-ba. 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 Sperm Sisters.
This is a story about sisters, just not the kind that you're expecting.
3 years ago, we were strangers, living separate lives.
Now we know we're biological sisters, connected by the same sperm donor.
And that's just the beginning.
This podcast dives headfirst into the how, the why, and the uncomfortable questions no one seems to want to answer.
Uncovering secrets the medical world would rather keep buried. How many donor-conceived people are there really?
No one can give a straight answer. Not the clinics, not the system, no one.
So, how many siblings could be walking past us every day without a clue?
It's messy, it's shocking. At times, it's almost impossible to believe.
And somehow, it's also really funny.
Come with us as we dig deeper, ask the uncomfortable questions, and laugh our way through the chaos of discovering who we really are and just how many of us there might be.
Coming up on this week's episode of Sperm Sisters. We're recording remotely today. Helen has the lurgy, but it hasn't stopped her giving us some astonishing sibling hookup stories.
Sometimes being attracted to a sibling isn't that rare. So,
What?
yeah.
We meet Natasha's fiancé James and double check he's not our brother.
It's bringing up all sorts of questions, obviously, but I'm pretty sure I'm the son of my mum and dad, and you're not, right?
But you don't know.
Yeah, but you don't 100,000,000% know that.
Nah, come on, I know.
Feeling ready? Let's begin the show.
Shall we say who each of us are?
Yes, you should.
Is that... Oh, me, the middle one. The middle sister, Gemma. Hello. I'm recording from my art studio. So I'm very sorry if you hear any background noise, but it's been a thing in this studio. Just the noise, and I'm trying to be all serene and creative and stuff, and then I hear "Oi!" from next door, or there's like an angry motorbike. So apologise if there is any background noise. 'Tis me. I apologise. Hi, my name's Gemma, and I'm having an anxiety attack.
That's good.
We keep it honest here, don't we? So...
That's the one to use.
Well, hello, I'm Helen. I'm the youngest sister, and today I look like a mixture of a gamer and a Britney impersonator, my fave gal, because I've got Jack's gaming headset on. I've never felt more attractive in my life. So
You look
also,
great.
my ears are so hot.
Why?
I have no idea, and I feel like I'm shouting.
And what episode is this?
Well,
What
hang
episode
on,
is it?
Nat didn't. We don't know who Nat is.
Eldest sister, tell us who thy be.
Hello, everybody. I'm Natasha, and I'm in Essex, and you might recognise the background because this is where we recorded our first couple of episodes before we moved over to... Where did I drive to?
Crowthorne.
Thorn.
Yeah, it's a horrible name, isn't it?
Yeah, but where is that? Berkshire.
Berkshire. Berkshire? Do you ever do that game? Hals and I used to play this game when we were little, and we'd be driving along somewhere, and you'd have to say the name of a place in England, but in an American accent. And because obviously, like Americans don't usually get it right, like Shire, like that kind of thing. We used to say the game.
Americans and Nat.
Yeah. So, like, if you had to say Staffordshire, Hell's do it. Staffordshire.
Staffordshire.
And so, yeah, that's basically that's our game.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 7.
Yup.
So, the girls don't really know what's coming up for them today, and I'm just going to launch straight in. So, okay, I need to ask you something, and I want you to answer honestly. Would you actually know if you were flirting with your sibling? Because I think most of us want to say yes. Like, of course, I'd know there'd be signs, vibes, some kind of internal alarm going off. But what if there isn't? What if it's just a really good date? Good chat, same sense of humor, weirdly similar face structure. Fine. Ignore that. Everything just clicks. And you walk away thinking, wow, I finally met someone I really connect with. And the only plot twist is you might also share a biological parent.
Oh,
That's the
Oh,
episode.
oh, oh my God. All right, we're
Oh,
doing this. This
I,
was always going to happen.
I
it
do.
probably might have happened.
It could
That's the
still
worrying
happen.
thing. Yeah.
It could still happen. But this is why I think it's important for us to do. Obviously, I'm going to try as much as I can to come from a light-hearted angle, but I do want to do like a slight trigger warning that some stuff that I've uncovered from my investigative journalism is rather dark. When you first start dating, you can try and cast your minds back to when you met. In fact, actually, Nat, when you met James, oh no, you would have known you were donor conceived then,
I did.
and you didn't have any concerns that you were brother and sister, no?
No, not until now.
So, Gemma, you didn't know that you were donor conceived when you met Leon, though, did you?
No, I didn't. I met my husband in 2016. We got married in 2018, which is also the year that I found out. So, I mean, I thought, to be honest, at that point, I'd already like slept with him. It is what it is,
It
you
is a
know.
bit late when that happens.
What about you and Jack?
Oh, he's my brother.
I knew I loved him.
No, I did know I was donor conceived when I met Jack, but I don't think we look alike at all, and it was not a concern for me. But
Okay.
I guess that does just. I'm going off on the fact that maybe you look alike. Go on.
I just remembered a story, but I don't know whether it's a good time to tell it now or like you might touch on it like later or something, but I'll just say it now just in case.
Yeah.
So Leon and I have two children. And when we went in to have our first baby, it was a bit of an emergency situation. So we had like a private room and stuff, whatever. It's all good now. I remember one of the midwives came in and she noticed it was just me in the room because Leon had popped out to go to the loo or to get something to eat or something. And then she came in and she was like, oh, I was just going to give you some test results and stuff, but I'll just wait for your brother to come back. I mean, your husband to come back.
Stop.
And I was thinking, oh my God, I'm about to give birth to an inbred. What is this? She actually said that. And I was thinking, oh my Jesus Christ. They must have gone back to their staff room and had
Yeah.
a good old little chat and been like, those two look related, don't they? And then Leon came back in from having a wee or something. And I just looked at him and I was like, yeah, we do look related.
Thankfully, you already had both your individual ancestry test results
Yes,
by then, so could confirm.
I did. Yeah. So Leon had already done an ancestry DNA test for his own fertility questions. So we knew that we weren't related, but it was just the whole point of like walking back into the room and being like, maybe we should double check that we're not on like the second or third cousin list.
This is the issue, though, isn't it? Because for most people, when they're dating, they're looking out for just usual red flags. So bad communication, commitment issues, someone still texting their ex, all the normal stuff. And
Yeah.
then there's this whole other category that no one really prepares you for if you're donor conceived, which is, am I accidentally related to this person? And the thing is, it's not even that far fetched anymore at all. So, with things like 23andMe and Ancestry DNA, people are finding out all kinds of things about their biological families, sometimes years after the fact, and sometimes at the worst possible moment. So, today, what I want to talk about is that very specific, slightly weird question, but very real question. How do you date when you don't fully know who you're related to? So we'll be going into like near misses, irrational fears that you might not actually be that irrational at all, and whether you can actually ever tell, or if you just have to hope for the best. And at what point, if ever, it becomes acceptable to ask someone the least romantic question imaginable. Hey, just a quick one. Who's your donor?
Who's your daddy?
Let me open this up a bit, okay? Do you think you would ever actually be able to tell? So forget the fact that obviously, Gemma, you're married, Nat, you're soon to be married, and have a baby and a mortgage with a man. So forget all of that. Pretend we're all single Pringles for this one. Do you think you would ever be able to tell if you accidentally were related to someone on a date?
Mm. Nah, you go. Sorry.
I feel like, yeah. But I would caveat that with that's just the sort of person I am on a first date. You two know I'm like the biggest oversharer on the planet. So I think I've always got into first date just like word vomiting about everything in my life, and ultimately do end up talking about my family.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think back to when I first met James, and I'm trying to think about like our first date. And I don't think I mentioned the fact that I was donor conceived on the date. So I guess it's about like where you are in life as to whether or not it might
Yeah.
crop up. I mean, like not thinking about, oh, do I look like him? I mean, I think James and I do look fairly similar sometimes.
Yeah, I do as well.
Great. Good to know.
Well, it's fine. I mean,
Do you want to?
if you guys are related, then you would be like third cousins, which is fine.
Do
I
you want
think
to
that
get James in and see if he wanted to share his thoughts of how he would feel?
what if
Oh
he
my
was
god.
what
Yeah,
share his thoughts on if
bring him down
right,
and
okay.
Bring him in. Bring him in.
He's really nervous.
why?
Oh,
Come and sit down, darling.
James.
Oh,
Oh my
Hello
god, you are
world.
related to us. Hello.
I haven't told him. I haven't told him
Okay.
what this is about.
okay.
Oh god.
Hello.
He- Hello, listeners.
Right. Let
Good
me
to
ask.
be here.
Lovely to have you here. Thank you.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
No.
Okay. James, let me just ask you a question then. We were just talking about this episode is like red flags or related.
Yeah.
And we were saying, do you think you would ever be able to tell if you're actually related to someone on a first date? And in our situations, both Gemma and Leon have done ancestry DNA tests. I've I've done one and Jack has done one as well. So we can categorically rule out we are not related to one another. But Nat has mentioned that you have not done an ancestry DNA test.
No, I haven't. No. Um, Look, I mean, I'm pretty sure we're not related, but maybe we
How?
should. We
How are
should.
you sure though?
Um, think think we well,
What?
we look quite different.
Well, no, Helen thinks we look the same.
No.
We don't look.
Literally said a minute ago, she goes, you look the same.
Helen's also a massive shit stirrer. So
Well, I mean, we also know, right, that it's bringing up all sorts of questions, obviously. But I'm pretty sure I'm the son of my mom and dad, and you're not, right?
But
So
you don't know.
Yeah, but you don't 100,000,000% know that.
nah, come on, I know.
Having met your sisters, I would say it's guaranteed that, yeah,
Yeah.
your parents are
Um.
your parents, but you
So
don't actually know. So the hypothetical question, pretend you've done an ancestry DNA test now and you
Mm.
find out that you are brother and sister. Are you still going ahead with the wedding?
No, I don't think so. I think we probably have to call that one off.
What would you say to people? Bearing in mind you're getting married in August, we're now recording this at the end of April.
And we found out we
May,
were brother
June,
and
July,
sister.
August, you've got 4 months. I'm guessing you've got some final payments to make and you've got people have RSVP'd. This is
What
your ancestry DNA results come back. So Natasha's on there. She's my second cousin.
Oh,
second cousin? Now,
Would you fuck your second cousin?
um, second cousin. No, I mean, I don't think so. What would I tell people?
Mm.
I'd like to think I'd just come out straight. Yeah, look, turns out Tasha's my second cousin, so the wedding's off. I suppose that would be easier, wouldn't it? Because no one would ask any questions.
I would.
If I'd gone, oh yeah, the wedding's off, we've had a falling out, everyone would be like, oh, what's happened? But if you just come out and say, yeah, no, look, turns out she's my second cousin, so can't go ahead with it, I think they'd understand.
I'd go ahead with the party. I just wouldn't marry you, and I'd be like, "This is now a celebration that we're related." Oh my god, why does no one like that as an idea?
what my main question is, sorry, are you guys still doing it or
Be
What?
nice.
That's what you'd ask at the wedding?
that's what I'd want to ask. I don't think I'd ask that.
Well, I
We wouldn't be
think we'd
able
probably have to
to.
stop doing it.
Very
Yeah.
difficult.
Do you know if anyone has found out that they are related and still gone ahead and got married?
Do I know?
No, Helen.
No. Do you, James?
No, I don't.
No, but I bet there probably are.
There are a few things which I will delve into.
Louisa, do you want to stay?
No, I think can I go?
Please.
Can I be excused?
You may leave, but
Right,
thank you.
Thanks
Off
for
you
being
go, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.
Bye.
Thanks, bro.
So I think from obviously having James come on, we can establish then you're not related and the wedding is very much still going ahead, which is great. Yeah.
Same questions to you, Nat. Right. James gets his ancestry results back. You guys are
Yeah.
second cousins. Would you still fuck him?
No. One more time. And I just like make an
Road.
all-nighter of it. Just one more time, just for the road.
Take it to your grave. Yeah. And then that's it. Call it off.
And then done.
I know we've just been like joking about it, but there is actually a psychological study that proves via case studies and obviously a lot of academic research that sometimes being attracted to a sibling isn't that rare. So
What?
yeah, really weird. So basically, it's called the Westermark effect. And it suggests that people who grow up closely together in early childhood develop a kind of natural sexual desensitization to each other. So if you've grown up as brother and sister in the same household, you essentially like write someone off as definitely not a romantic option. Well, obviously, you can't say for 100% because the world is weird, but pretty much
Yeah.
100%, there's not going to be much incest going on. But there's a really important exception to this rule, and it's when siblings don't grow up together, things can be very different. So, in this Westermark theory, there's something called genetic sexual attraction. And this refers to cases where close biological relatives meet as adults in much later life without knowing that they're related, and they suddenly experience a strong attraction or emotional intensity. This can happen for a number of reasons. You might share physical traits, mannerisms, voice patterns, and that familiarity can feel like you are just clicking or like you've never felt this understood before. But actually, that feeling is not a reliable sign of compatibility. It's just shared genetics showing up.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
So I know we keep
Oh
joking about
no.
like, "Oh, you could have fucked your brother." No, that you really could in this in this situation.
Sorry, can you tell me again what the name of this is? That's
Yeah,
the I want to say Westeros.
which doesn't feel unwarranted for the topic, but it's the Westermark effect.
The Wester Mark.
Mark.
All one word, Westermark effect.
Westermark effect. The fact that this has even got a name,
Yeah.
that
Mm.
means it's prevalent enough to have been identified as an issue, that it's been researched and funding has been put into this research. Do you know what I mean? Like and
Yeah.
also the fact that there's a big enough research pool, there's enough people to do a decent study on, is alarming. Don't you think?
Have you got some real life examples, Helen?
So I do actually.
I knew
Well
it.
done. God bless.
Gemma's having a swig of her
She's
margarita.
Margaret.
This is unbelievable.
I will just say that this is difficult sometimes with research because obviously it's such a taboo, as it should be taboo. It's a really sensitive topic. Like, imagine you have got married to someone and you've just found out that you are brother and sister. Lots of
That's
people,
heartbreaking.
how heartbreaking, particularly if you've gone on to have children. Um,
Yes, that's very
it's
hard.
Yeah, it's not something that then you're gonna be like, "Do you know what? I'm gonna stick this all over social media and tell everyone about this or do multiple interviews about things." I do have one where someone has gone on record and has done interviews, and I feel like we can totally talk about that.
Fabulous.
Here we go then. So this real case study, there's a woman called Victoria Hill, and she's from Connecticut. So I think obviously, in a way, the story's, like, pretty horrific. It's not the one from the Netflix documentary series, but it is essentially the same story. So, it's where the family fertility doctor was using his own sperm to impregnate any of his clients,
Oh my God.
all in this same region. So, you've got to imagine then there's, like, such a gene pool of that. But also what I found is, like, how concerning because that Netflix documentary is such a horror show, and then I've stumbled across it's happened again. So it's like, "Welcome to America." This is an excerpt of, an article that she wrote and was interviewed in. In May of 2023, I attended a high school reunion. I was eager and excited to see many of my classmates for the first time in years, and I reconnected with some of my closest friends, including my high school boyfriend. My high school boyfriend and I met in 8th grade, quickly grew incredibly close, and spent most of our time together. Friends joked about our connection when we went to parties or hung out with others, but always found our way into a corner together. We shared something unlike anything else I'd experienced. We were best friends until 11th grade, when we decided to finally date and become intimate. Then we went our separate ways before attending different colleges. We saw each other throughout the years, but naturally drifted apart. Still, he was and always will be someone I hold strong feelings for. After reconnecting at the reunion, my friends and I decided to get together again in a more intimate setting. As we sat around a dinner table, I told my surprise DNA and fertility fraud discovery story. Then my former boyfriend turned to me and said, "My mother recently told my twin brother and I that we were conceived via IVF. He and his brother were born exactly 1 month after I was at the same hospital. It was at this moment that we looked at each other, our stomach in knots, and shared the same horrifying thought. What were the chances that our mothers used the same doctor?" That night, I demanded my former boyfriend ask his mum the name of the doctor who'd helped her conceive. He did, and she repeated back my biological father's name. He then took a 23andMe test, and in July of 2023, it was confirmed. My high school boyfriend and his twin brother were my half siblings, numbers 21 and 22 in our sibling pod. The trauma around this revelation is profound. If my former boyfriend and I had attended the same college, we likely would have married and had children together, only later to discover we were brother and sister. Even after we went our separate ways, we saw each other at friends' weddings, and there was always a connection between us. Had one of us not been with someone else at those times, we might have reconnected again.
Wow.
That's so brave of her to come forward and share that.
Yeah.
I want. Does it go on to say if they now have a relationship as siblings or friends?
Yeah, it was like part of a really long article with
Okay.
loads of stuff. And yeah, they do have a relationship as siblings.
A flirty sibling relationship.
As siblings with benefits relationship.
No, we shouldn't make
No,
light.
that's not
Oh,
funny.
was it?
But it's like wild because you've got to think about when people go to these clinics, like same for us. We're all outer London and grew
Mm,
up outer London suburbs or whatever. So I mean, it's not going to be unusual that you'll have lots of people in the same area
Mm.
that could all be related to one another and have no idea.
yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that we went to the same uni at the same time, you know, we went to all the same places because Leeds Freshers was a fortnight, wasn't it? And that was just like a fortnight of every single night you go out and just go to parties and everything. And we would have been there at all the same events. Had you been like, I'm sorry, but like, had you been like a guy and I saw you, yeah, I'd probably be like, four, all right. And then,
Ding dong.
and like, but that's the thing, just the fact that you were maybe born a girl, but I didn't try and cop on.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
you don't
And
know if you have copped on with one.
w well, that's it, and I was gonna say, we don't know if there are more of us. I mean, at the moment, we just know that we're all girls, and
Yeah.
isn't it written somewhere within the research that it's more like women tend to do these tests more than men?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there could be some men out there that, I have snogged in East
Yeah.
London.
When I
But there
think
really could
about,
be.
yeah, I do think like when I found out that we were donor conceived, one of my initial things was like, oh my God, what have I done? And who with and whatever. And I thought of all of my ex-boyfriends and I was like, no, 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 definitely not. I mean that it would be really interesting, like to know how many donor conceived people have gone on to have children together.
And that's kind of the issue because we won't really know about that because it's again, I know I always hark back to the Wild West era, but everyone was told don't tell don't tell your
Don't
children.
tell your children, yeah.
So we
Mm.
won't ever know that stat, but I don't think it's unreasonable to think that there are cases of that in the UK and people have no idea.
And that
So
is
sorry
also
about that.
why it's really important that people know that they are donor conceived, not just for them, but then for future grandkids. And it's a thing that is spoken about in all families in fairness to that donor conceived person and the children that they then bring into this world. Because, for example, our kids will know that their mums are donor conceived. So then, if they meet someone, and because it's all spoken about and it's all open and shared, it's worth, they mention it to someone that they would like to have kids with. This is such a lockdown Zoom meeting, isn't it? Like bringing you back to work. Thank
Sorry.
you.
You were
No,
saying
it's
something very
lovely.
poignant then.
But I think you are absolutely right, Gemma. And really, it's the discovery is pretty much always after the fact. So You're not discovering it before you've slept with a sibling or before you've married your sibling. It's
Mm,
always afterwards, and that's
yeah. Yeah.
where it's all such a grey area. So,
Yeah.
shall I lighten the mood slightly?
Go for it.
Okay, I've got a game for you.
Oh,
Right, I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios and I want you to answer whether, so it would be like, shag, marry, kill, but
Mm.
instead your options are less fun. Date, DNA test first, or immediate exit. My first question, you're on a first date. You meet someone who looks like you but is hotter. Date,
Date.
date. Okay, that's nice. A nice, easy one to warm up with. Okay, you're on a first date. You have identical music taste, humor, and face shape.
Oh.
oh,
Date.
yeah, probably date.
Yeah, same, probably date, to be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, my next one. You're on a first date, and you both say, I've got like 20 half siblings.
DNA test.
Yeah. DNA test. And hopefully they know that because they've done a DNA test. So you get your phones out, get your app out immediately.
Yeah.
True. Okay, you share the same rare surname and grew up 20 minutes apart.
What? So like a Pashak.
Yeah.
I'm the only fucking Pashak I've ever met. If I walked into a Tinder date and the geezer was like, yeah, my name's Thomas the Pashak, I'd be like, fuck off.
That one's too obvious, isn't it? Okay. The other question. Your grandparents are from the exact same small village.
Oh, DNA test.
I guess that kind of brings this episode to a bit of a close, really. I think we've covered everything. There's real life case studies, what we would do in certain scenarios. Thankfully, we know the wedding is still on. So that's good. But at the end of the day, most people aren't walking around thinking about this stuff, and that is probably a good thing. But for most people in donor conceived situations, or just anyone navigating modern DNA surprises, it's a reminder that identity isn't always as simple as we think. And also, maybe don't just rely on vibes alone as your genetic screening tool.
Well
Lovely
done.
house. Beautiful. Even Shmoo loves it.
Thanks, Smoosh Moo.